Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today as we have gathered here together to discuss Beastars Episode 6, and I'm super excited to show you my reaction highlights and my review for today, where we'll discuss, analyze, and theorize. But before we get into that, those housekeeping things that I always have to mention, remember to subscribe if you want to get notified when I post a Beastars video. Join the Discord server because we're having some fun Beastars chats in there. It's been interesting for people to see like my initial reaction to Legoshi getting the haircut. We had a little debate. Do we love it? Do we hate it? All that fun stuff. So if you want to kind of talk to us outside of just this comment section, the Discord is there for you to join. And thank you to all the patrons and YouTube membership members for allowing me to continue to make content like this. If you want to support me monetarily, directly, all of that stuff so I can continue making these videos, because they do take a while to make. They're not the most like popular format and everything just because of how like in detail I go, I guess, and how long they are. But if you want to support them, you can check out the Patreon, and that way you could also get exclusive access to my full-length timer and subtitle reactions for all of these episodes, all of the past ones, and then this current one. Or you could just see my reviews early, because as of when I'm recording this, I think that I'll like, oh dear, hello Kingdom Hearts. As of when I'm recording this, I'm not entirely sure how far I'll be, but I'll probably be like 3 episodes ahead by the time you guys are seeing this. So if you want both early access and exclusive access, you can go do that. I'm gonna go put the poster up and then we'll get into the reaction. Oh, he's like the underworld is in my blood, you know? Damn. Damn! Oh, well executed though, he's impressed. Damn! Oh. Oh, so he just didn't know how to give him love, I guess. And now he's like, oh, okay. Oh, see, because he would stage it as a suicide. Oh. That was an intense scene. Wait, he signed it though. But now I don't think he wants. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like his dad felt different. Oh, it's Cosmo again! Let's go! Oh, come on! Little, so cute! Ah, come on! I want to ship them! Oh, she's so cute! Guys, they're so cute! Please! I just want... Hey, if I need to see any sexy times today, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? See? Rouis needed that, man. He hasn't had vegetables in forever. Oh, man. I love that delicious contrast from before. It's so delicious he's gonna cry. Oh. Oh. Oh! Little kissy. What just fell? Oh, dear. Oh, the posters. It's getting so hot in here, the posters are falling. Damn. Damn. So he basically said, if you can't do it, then what are you gonna do? This is really fascinating, because like, oh, I like how in English they said the pride, because it's like my pride of lions and then also my pride of like, does that mean he is gonna withdraw from school? Oh, Legoshi. Legoshi's investigating the crime scene. Okay, where the fuck is the snake lady, okay? I've had enough. You know what I mean? She sent Legoshi to do all this and she didn't do shit, you know? So, I'm kind of mad. Oh, so he did kiss him! Aw, damn. I don't think it's what you're thinking, sweetie. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What? Is that gonna make her happy or disturbed? Damn. Oh no. Get a book from the library, Legoshi. Damn, Juno's kind of right though. Like, you know what I mean? Aw, damn. See, she doesn't just want to like do whatever he asks because she likes him. You know, she doesn't want to feel like like, he's manipulating her feelings, but now she's just like, well, I can't resist. Oh my god. This is, everybody else must be like, what is happening? Oh my god. Jeez, I guess that's how wolves do things. No, 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 no. Damn, oh my god. Guys, this is getting a little weird. Like, you know what I mean? Oh my god. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. But I love that though. Okay, I think he's done, sis. Damn, he's like, thank you for helping. Oh my god. Juno's probably like, what the fuck? Oh my god, this episode is everything. This episode's hilarious. Oh, maybe Juno should go talk to... Damn, maybe Juno should go talk to Haru, you know, go get some advice. Oh, is he like, he's having a moment? He's emotionally connecting with the meat, you know? Oh, damn, you're talking about this now? Oh my god. Oh man. Oh my god. See, I think he's worried about the sheep going after Haru too. Because that was my theory from last week. Are we gonna bury the meat? I guess. I mean, I guess it was someone once, you know? Oh. Oh, I'm getting chills. No. Oh, only Legoshi. Why did he try to just hit him? What was that? Wait, excuse me? Excuse me, he's writing a test, miss. Aw, damn, he's interrogating her. Wait, but why did you tell him then? Damn, why did you even come to talk to him then if you didn't wanna, you know what I mean? Like, you're the one who sat down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, damn. Oh my god. Damn. Oh, damn. Oh. 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 Damn. Damn. I think that she's just bringing up this guy to make him jealous or something. Like, I can't read her at all either. It's been such a long time since we've seen her, and then she just pops up out of nowhere. Like, I'm just as confused as Legoshi. What? What? Excuse me? Wait, I don't think that's what he meant. Committed. Oh my god. Did you see that guy in the background that had his books? Oh man. Oh man, Haru's... Oh damn. That, you know, that's not untrue. You know what I mean? You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it just because of... Oh, see? So... Damn. So he proposed marriage to, like, make her committed? Oh, damn. Jesus Christ. That just went downhill very quickly. Oh, boy. Damn. Oh, so... Damn. So she does want Legoshi. Oh, no. Damn. Oh, Legoshi. Yeah, this episode's kind of weird. I feel like that we're supposed to be as lost, though. Oh, see? They're trying to set it up like it's Bill, but I don't think so. The foreshadowing! Do you see this? He's stronger than everyone else! The foreshadowing! See? So? Why doesn't Legoshi eat bug? Oh. Damn. I love their friendship, their weird friendship thing. Yeah, buddy! Tournament arc! Kind of. Oh, what? Damn! again, a little bit. Just a little. I still don't like his haircut, but they definitely Whoa! Legoshi? Seriously? You idiot! Oh no! What happened? You whiffed it! Oh no! Oh! What happened? His jaw's getting weak? His teeth are weak? Eat some bugs, Legoshi! Bugs are legal, bro! You know? Okay, well. All right, everybody, let us get into my review. Now, if you haven't seen a review like this before, don't worry. It's just something that I do every once in a while if I'm in a position where I cannot like record in person for whatever reason. And so we are doing everything as normal today if you have seen my past reviews and everything. And so we start here with Rouis and his dad still. He's saying, I was born a beast of the darkness. And so he's basically saying like, you know, the underworld is in my blood. I'm basically going back like whence I came. And I think that that's really, really cool. And so he's like, hey, listen, like I know that you're a beast of the darkness, okay? Because first of all, you did like A, B, and C, right? Like you tried to do that versus being eaten by carnivores. You also became the boss of the Shishigumi, and now you're pointing a gun to my head. I think the dad's basically saying like, yeah, I understand. You know what I mean? I know that you're, you know, not a decent deer. I think by that, he means like upstanding, you know what I mean? Those are all foolish acts, but good improvisation. And so I thought that that was interesting, right? Because he's basically like, you know, like that's all dumb, but good, like, you know, good improvisation in terms of like thinking on your feet and like making like a very sound plan, like strategy almost, like having like good strategy, I guess you could say. And so he's just like, you know, I would expect nothing less from the star of the drama club to be able to improvise and become this like, you know, this perfect actor, I guess you could say, in every situation to have a response. And this really like pisses Rouis off too, because he's like, hey, you're like throwing this in my face that you've never seen me on stage, right? For a long time, I didn't know how to love someone I'd bought with money, right? So we're basically getting the reason why the dad may seem very cold and distant. But now that we're communicating at gunpoint, the clashing of 13 years worth of emotions is apparently pleasing me, right? So he's glad that they can have like an honest, open conversation with each other, which I think was like very interesting and compelling, I guess. I could refuse to sign and let you shoot me, leaving the legacy of being the conglomerate boss who himself out of despair for his delinquent boy, right? So he's basically saying, he's not even saying that Rouis would get like, you know, arrested for it. He's basically saying that like he knows that Rouis is smart enough to be able to frame it as a suicide, but that would leave like a legacy of, you know, a martyr type legacy. Like, what do you think? You're like, you'd make me basically like a martyr. So are you gonna shoot me? Because if you shoot me, I will be like, you know, like mourned, right? For like this, you know, the conglomerate who did this out of despair for his delinquent son, right? Like that paints a very different picture. That makes him seem like a loving father, right? And so it's like, hey, you know, if you shoot me, I'll be seen as a loving father who cared about you so much that I did this, right? And so he's basically saying like, hey, you know, like that would be the route that you're taking, so you can't kill me, right? Like unless you're happy with the world remembering me that way. And then we see he actually does sign the leave of absence though. I couldn't figure out his true intentions after all, because it's kind of weird, because he said like, hey, like I could refuse to sign and you could shoot me and then I'll be like a martyr. But instead he doesn't refuse to sign, like he signs anyway, right? Which is kind of like interesting and something I didn't understand. Like, why did he sign anyway? And so I think that basically he signed though to see if Rouis could like make something of himself, like taking this path. Like I feel like it was almost a challenge, right? If you shoot me now, this is how I will be remembered. But if you make something of yourself and then you come back and shoot me later, then like, you know, you will be like something different. So I feel like he almost wanted Rouis to take this path and see what he could make of himself, right? And so then we see the antelope. I don't remember. Somebody told me what she was in my comments, but now I forgot. So sorry. I don't intend to get friendly just because we're both herbivores, and that really disappoints me. That makes me so sad because I ship them so much, and I wonder if they'll never like talk to each other again, you know? And so they both get veggie juices, and like Rui's like, bro, you're asking for vegetables in the black market? But then it's okay. This is the only bar in the black market that serves veggie juice, right? And so I thought that that was like really, really nice. And I wonder if Rouis will come here regularly to kind of like get his vegetables in a subtle way, if that makes sense. Basically, like, away from the prying eyes of the lions, if that makes sense. Like, he can come here every once in a while and basically just, like, drink, like, a whole diet of, like, vegetable juice and then, like, go back home and eat the meat or something like that. Like, that could be, like, the vibe, right? A toast to all herbivores, and you can actually see that she only drinks, like, about half, whereas Rouis, like, he downs the entire thing because he's just so desperate for vegetables. And I like the, it's delicious parallel here. Like, he's like, how delicious, and you see he has like a very pained look on his face just because of like all of the other times you know, that he's had to like pretend that the meat was delicious, but now this is genuinely delicious because it's the vegetables that he's been missing for such a long time. And you can actually see on her face, she's like, ah, dude, is this guy okay? Like, he acts like he's never had a vegetable before, right? And so I thought that that was like really interesting, and I love their conversation here. And how she said, like, she's ready to spend the rest of her life here. After all, this place is heaven for carnivores. And I kind of like that you see, too, you see Ibuki, he's lighting a cigarette, right? He's like, you know, he's a very, like, fatherly figure to Rouis, and I really like that. Like, I'm very interested to see what parallels will be drawn with Ibuki compared to, like, Rui's, like, quote-unquote father, right? You're still young, like, now's your chance to run. Like, she's basically saying, hey, you can still leave it. See, like, look at this, guys, there was cuteness. And now it's gone, you know what I mean? And now she just left, and so I don't think that they're gonna be a ship. I honestly think that she's just like a minor character that's gonna show up this like one time, and then we're not really gonna see her regularly anymore. I think maybe they are going for Juno, I don't know, you know? And so then we see the rest of the conversation with the dad. The Horns conglomerate will not fail because of something as trivial as your misconduct. Come back when you're strong enough to pull that trigger, right? And so he's basically saying, like, hey, like, if you think shooting me will, like, have things go your way, like, my company still won't fail. And I know that that's what you want me to that's what you want to happen to me, I don't know. But he basically says, come back when you're strong enough to pull that trigger. And so it's basically saying, hey, you want to leave school? Fine, but make something of yourself, right? Come back when you're strong enough to like do these things, and then I'll be like satisfied. I think that that's kind of what the dad was saying. Again, it's a very like difficult conversation because he's like, hey, you know, come back when you're strong enough to like pull the trigger of the gun, basically. Come back when you've kind of made something of yourself. And so I feel like he just sees like, Rouis, you're acting out, you're like just being like a delinquent, so come back when you're actually like, as you know, the hard rock leader of the Shishigumi that you think you are. I don't know, something like that. But then he says, no, it's too late to go back, right? Too late to run or turn back. So he can't go back to his father, and he can't run away from the Shishigumi either. I feel like that's the message. And I like what the English dub did, because he said, for better or for worse, I've got these guys with me. But then he said, for better or for worse, I've got my pride. And I think that was actually really clever. I like that better than what the Japanese translation implied. And I guess it's because that wordplay is only something that works in English, right? Because pride is the pride of lions, right? That's what you call like the group of lions is the pride, but also he's too prideful to admit to his father, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I kind of like that. So it's the pride of not wanting to like, you know, go back home for his father to be like, see, like you were just acting out, right? That's why he said like, come back when you're strong enough to pull the trigger, because it's like, you know, if you're truly not just acting out, next time I see you, you won't be like running back with the tail in between your legs, so to speak. Like you will be coming back to do what a Shishigumi boss would truly do. Like that could be the mentality of him. And so he's saying, well, now I have my pride, so I can't go back to my dad and have it so like that he was right. Like I can't let my dad be right about me, that I was just acting out and that I wasn't strong enough to do what quote unquote has to be done type of thing, right? A light shines brighter in the dark, but it won't last long. And so that's interesting that he says too, right? Because that sort of implies that he needs to change too, that he does need to like immerse himself in the darkness, because or else they will snuff out you know, his light. I've already chosen to be on this side. And so I think that that's interesting. That we have like Detective Legoshi, and so he's like, oh yeah, like the only data I have on the devourer is the mouth. I burnt it in my mind since it's precious data, but the fact we Frenched is pretty tough. So yeah, that's a confirmation that he did actually kiss him, right? And so he's like, oh well, it was me who did it. Like Legoshi's like, oh yeah, I'm the one who Frenched him, right? It wasn't the devourer. I put myself in this situation. And poor Juno, she's just sitting here thinking that she has a date with Legoshi, and he basically just came to talk to her to like look at her mouth, right? And so I think that this was hilarious hilarious because he's so formal. He's like, you know, I'm so sorry to like to call your presence here. You know, he's talking so formally, and she's like, it's fine, what's the matter, right? And so he's like, so can I see the inside of your mouth? And I love the animation here and how Juno's like kind of like by herself. I feel like you can make such a meme out of this because it's almost like a green screen, except it's a black background. Like you could do so much with that. Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, she's just like, what the fuck, right? The inside of my mouth, right? She's just like, can you repeat that, please? Like, I don't understand. And you see she gets all blushy because she thinks that it's some like weird, you know what I mean? There's some like weirdness to that. Like, what? No way. Like, what are you thinking, right? And like, and she's just like, I didn't mean it like that, you know? I kind of like that. Like, don't worry, Juno. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm not, you know, like, don't worry. You're safe here. Like, I'm just doing research. It's nothing like perverted. But you're the one I don't want to be seen by. Yeah, that was kind of like a weird thing to say, but I think it's saying like, you know what I mean, yeah, like, oh, you're safe here, but you're the one that I don't want to be seen by, like that, in a compromising position, if that makes sense. Like, because she confessed her love to him, and so it's insensitive of him to like ask something like that, something intimate, I guess you could say. And so that's basically what she's saying. She's just like, how can I be safe here when I felt this way about you? Like, obviously it's compromising, right? And so like, she's just like, oh, this is more awkward than I thought. And so he's like, oh, that troubled expression, that fresh haircut, like, this is Juno. Like, I feel like Juno is basically like, I can't stand like what Legoshi's doing to me, right? Like right here, he's basically, you know, she can't resist, I guess you could say, just a tiny bit, okay? And so Legoshi like just takes this like, you know, face value, like, okay, let's do it, right? But she sees it as like an intimate thing, I guess. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot to say here, and these herbivores are just like, bro, like, spare me the flirting, right? I guess things get grandiose when wolves get together, right? And so they're just like, oh man. And so then he basically like cups her jaw, and she's just like, I don't care if it's you, Legoshi, anymore. Like, go ahead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's basically her mentality. Like, just do what you want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I let you do anything, Legoshi. Like, that's her mentality. And just like, Jesus Christ. And then, you know, he just lets go, and he's just like, just as I thought. Like, yeah, like, there's a difference in size between males and females. And she's just like, what is happening? And you see, as he explains, her tail goes down, right? And so, like, it's like she was happy for a minute, and then, like, you know what I mean? Like, he just, like, crushed her. It's called So Let Us Both Take Care of Our Health. I think that in English, he actually said something about her teeth, like, that her teeth were, like, nice and shiny or something, like, healthy, you know? And so I thought that was so funny. I love just these awkward exchanges, and I love how Juno's just, like, again, right? But he doesn't even realize that he's playing with her heart, right? He doesn't see that as like flirting or something intimate at all. Like, he was just like, bro, I gotta find Tem's murderer, you know what I'm saying? And I love how she chugs the juice. It reminds me a lot of Rouis, and so again, you know, we're shipping that. Rouis and Juno, right? And so then we have Gohan talking, you know, about like the impossible training, and he basically walks in on Legoshi, like, touching like the meat, you know what I mean? Like, he's just big chilling like with this slab of meat, I guess you could say. And so he's like, oh, by the way, like, you know, can we talk for a second? Because like, you know, like I'm not very popular with the ladies, right? So he's talking about like Haru again, but then he's also talking like, oh yeah, the handsome male sheep joined my drama club. And I wonder if he's worried about the sheep getting with Haru, like Pina, right? Like I'm wondering if he's worried about Pina making a move on Haru, because obviously Haru is very promiscuous, and now there's this like hot, handsome, like herbivore that just joined the drama club and like may like go for Haru, right? But I feel like that he told this whole story for a reason though, because he was saying like that the interaction with Pina made him realize like that he like has normal feelings towards herbivores, that he is capable of hating a herbivore because herbivores are ultimately just people, not to be held on a pedestal, but to be equal. And so I feel like, right, I was worked up from the training, so I got pissed more than before, right? So he's talking about Pina, right? Because he's realizing, yeah, like, I want to feel that way. I want to feel like I can hate a herbivore like I can hate a carnivore, because the reason why I have felt certain ways about carnivores in the past versus herbivores is because, like, I've seen, you know, herbivores as maybe something more to be protected, like, again, like putting them up on a pedestal, versus the carnivores, like, he can hate Bill, but in the past, maybe he would think, no, I couldn't hate a herbivore. Like, it's not like that. But when you have that mentality, that means you're putting somebody on like a pedestal or like reducing them in some way, right? And so now he's realizing like, oh, like I can feel happiness, sadness, anger. I can even hate a herbivore, which made me realize that like we are all like equal, right? Like we are all the same, right? We're all like students, we're all classmates, we're all like equal as people, and that like changed his mentality about things. You know what I mean? Because he could have saw like Haru as something. I don't think that Legoshi ever saw any herbivores as lesser, but I think he did sometimes see herbivores as different, right? Like on a different level or something, right? Like, oh, like, you know, again, like I can't hate a herbivore, right? How could I do that? But then it's allowing yourself to feel the full spectrum of emotions that makes it so you accept that they are like equal to you, right? So I think that was interesting, right? And so then he carries like the bag and he says, neither my nose nor my stomach will be stimulated by the weight of life, right? And so he's basically saying, you know, like he doesn't even care about the scent of meat anymore because he's realizing like it is just life. All lives are equal. So again, right, like I feel like that's very interesting because he's basically, you know, saying that he realized like that they were all the same all along almost, right? And so he buries all of the people, right? And so they did come from like, again, funeral homes, hospitals, all of that stuff, right? And so they do say butchers though, so that kind of makes me worried that somebody was murdered. But yeah, that's a very interesting part about the world is that they only get the meat from the black market. I won't say only because I'm sure there's some sketchy stuff too, obviously, right? Like maybe the butchers was probably a place like, you know, where people like Rouis were held, right? Like something like that, something more shady. But like these are people that passed away and their bodies were basically, instead of being able to be buried, were basically passed on to like the black market, you know? So it would be also an interesting question, like, do they do funerals in this world? And do you almost like sign up to be sent to the black market, right? Like an organ donor or something similar, because why, like, wouldn't the family be like, bro, where's the body of this person? You know, where's the body of my family member? So I wonder if these people like signed to be sent to the black market after death, like organ donation or something. And I think that could be an interesting angle because I think it is like respectful, obviously, for Legoshi to bury, you know, these people. They had lives, they deserve a proper burial. But if they signed up to be a part of the black market or sent to the black market, like I feel like what Legoshi is going to learn is that like he will have to end up eating meat in order to protect the herbivores that are already alive. And what he has to realize is the herbivores that died would die, I guess, in vain, if that makes sense. Like if he doesn't eat meat and he's too weak to protect the herbivores that are living, that makes it so the herbivores that died, they die in vain, right? It's almost like the circle of life thing, right? Like those herbivores died, but they could die in order to give you life force so you can go out and do good in the world. And that'll sort of be the lesson that he learns. You know what I mean? Is that he didn't kill them, they died naturally. And if we do have a situation where it's like, no, like, you know, my dad or something, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, like from the perspective of a family member of one of the people that passed away, like, you know, oh yeah, my husband, my dad always said like that if I were to die, I should be sent to the black market, right? Like, so, you know, there can continue to be peace in society or something, like, or, you know, so my favorite sports team can get the sustenance they need after I'm dead, right? Like you could say, like, because they said like the military and sports teams like are basically doping and it's like an open secret or something that they all eat meat, right? And so I find that very fascinating as a concept. And I talked about this, I think, in my discussion from last week, or maybe I just talked about this in my head, I don't know, maybe in my reaction, but I think that Legoshi would benefit from sort of like a different idea about like how life works, I guess. I know that sounds so weird, but I was basically talking, maybe I was talking to someone, and I was talking about like how in a lot of indigenous cultures, it is like, it is emphasized to use the entire creature, right? Like if you are hunting for something, let's just say like a deer, right? You're going to use all of the meat from that deer. You're going to use the skin to keep yourself warm. You're going to use the antlers, right, for something. Like you are going to respect the sanctity of life by making sure that nothing of that creature went to waste. And so you have to wonder, in this world, is burying this meat something going to waste? Whereas if you were to consume the meat, that would be like a part of respecting the life is making sure that it is all utilized. Obviously, this doesn't cross over into our world, because like I don't think that like human beings are the same. Like it's definitely not the same like in our world, with the context that we're all humans that are buried. But at the same time though, I do think about that a lot. Like, I do think, like, why am I going to get buried, like, after I'm dead? Like, buried in a box somewhere? Like, why don't I sign up for a program where I can get buried and, like, turn into a tree or something? Like, I think that that would be much better for the environment and stuff like that, right? Than just being, like, I don't know, like, in the ground and not doing anything, right? And so I feel like that even with people, you could think of it that way, too. It's, like, it's respectful to be buried, obviously, right? And some people do choose to go that way. But what if people decide, like, no, you know, I want to be a tree, you know what I mean? I want to help a tree grow. So you could say that like these herbivores would help Legoshi grow, and that's kind of like almost a similar concept, right? So that's something I was thinking about. I think that he is going to learn the lesson that yes, like all of these people had lives. They once had a name and a life just like me, but like they're dead. You know what I mean? And so I feel like he won't eat meat because he wants to, but he'll eat meat because he realizes that he has to. You know, so they may have not had a life full of happiness, but, and then it's weird because Gohan punches him, and I'm like, why? Like, why did this happen? Like, that was such a confusing scene to me, right? And so he's like, you cleared the first hurdle, so maybe it was reflexes, because, like, maybe the first hurdle was realizing that they all have life, but maybe that's why he'll eventually eat meat, because, yes, phase 1 was realizing, yes, everybody, like, has life, but then, like, life goes to waste. You know what I mean? Like burying that life when that life could be used to save and help other people or help other living things grow would be a waste in a sense. I don't know. And so yeah, then Legoshi basically goes to study and he's like, you know, my grades have dropped, right? Like I haven't been doing that well. So he falls asleep and then he wakes up because he smells Haru, which is kind of interesting. And see, Haru's scene is confusing. Less confusing than the punch though. Like I feel like it was supposed to be confusing on purpose. What I mean by this is that she's like, oh yeah, you know, a guy friend asked me to hang out tonight. And so she has like a lot of different emotions here, but I feel like that she's not playing hard to get, but that she brought that up to Legoshi so he would have a reaction on purpose. You know what I mean? It's like some reverse psychology girl stuff, like stereotypical, obviously lots of girls are not like this, but like that stereotypical, like, you know, this is a test, right? Like you see that all the time, like, oh, if your girl does this, it's a test, make sure that you know the right answer, right? And so that, right, like she changes the subject. And so I was like, Haru, like why would you want to bring it up to Legoshi if you didn't want to talk to him about it, right? Like, you know what I mean? And so I feel like she did it on purpose, because that's what I was confused about. I was like, Haru, how can you be mad that you brought this up to Legoshi and then he was like, I don't want you around other guys, and then like, you know what I mean? Like you brought it up to him in the first place. So I feel like it was definitely on purpose that she brought it up, right? You know, so who's that guy friend, Haru? Because she says none of your business. So that's what I mean. She's like, oh, it was, you know, none of your business, right? And I'm like, well, why did you bring it up to him then? Clearly you wanted it to be Legoshi's business. So she's like playing like hard to get, basically, you know what I mean? Because she's like, she's trying to be cold on purpose. She's like, oh, well, you're not my boyfriend, right? Like that's her like attitude about it, right? And so I feel like that, you know, I can't do it. Maybe like, I can't close my eyes and do it. Anyway, and so yeah, so she has like that sort of attitude, right? And so she said, are you mad for real? What do you think, right? Ever since then, you've hardly replied to my text. You've always looked away from me at school. So she's mad, right? So that's like the whole point of this scene, is that Legoshi hasn't been like talking to her anymore since after like he asked that question about Rouis. Basically, you're not even at school in the evening. You don't look at me in the hallway. I didn't like that you asked about my relationship with Rouis that night. And I think that like the only fault of Legoshi here is that you made assumptions and left. Like, I feel like that is true. I don't feel like Legoshi's the bad guy for asking about it, though. It's more like that he didn't, like, hear Haru out. He just took her facial expression as, like, law. So Legoshi says, to be honest, I thought it was fine for my love to remain unrequited. And now he's like, nah, I don't think that's good, actually, right? Because he says, I had no idea she'd be stressed out over it. Like, stressed out over the fact that he was gonna, like, drift away from her if his love was, like, unrequited, basically, right? I promised I'd become stronger, right? And so he's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do that in my own way. And you see that she actually seems, like, upset about this, right? It's like, oh, it would benefit you in the end. And I think that she has a very interesting mentality, because she's like, oh yeah, I want, you know, like, she's like, oh, I want to create a society that's safe for all herbivores. And you can see that she's angry, right? By herbivores, I mean, you see how her ears moving and stuff. Like, she gets more and more irritated, and I think that's because of, like, the mentality that she talked about before. Look at this. I love this graphic that she talked about before, which was basically that, you know, like, all of these guys take pity on her and want to protect her, and Legoshi is doing that. He wants to change the world for her, right? So it's almost even worse than what guys in the past have done, right? And so now I think she's basically saying that, like, she doesn't want the world to change. She just wants to spend her time happily with Legoshi, right? And so I feel like that's the whole thing, is that all of these guys take pity on her and are like, oh yeah, Haru, I'll protect her. And then Legoshi basically went to the extreme of, I'm gonna protect you so much that I'm gonna change the world. And she's like, but I don't want any of that. I don't want pity. I just want to spend time with you, right? And so he says, thanks for saying that. And she's just like, I didn't say it to make you happy, right? You know what I mean? Still that, is it called tsundere? I don't remember. Our values are too different. But Haru, when I promised I'd become stronger, you said you'd wait for me. Don't take it literally. And so she's like, I just felt like saying that back then. Like, I'm not gonna wait forever, right? See, and Legoshi's realizing, like, wait, but she had a near-death experience, but she has no caution towards society. Like, she doesn't want society to change, or at least she's not, like, openly expressing that. That might be the solution for our relationship. And so I thought that was a weird thing to say, because I wasn't sure, but I think that he meant, like, he finally found the answer. He finally realized why they're having compatibility problems, you know what I mean? Because she doesn't care about him trying to change the world, and he genuinely does want to change the world, right? We might not be okay as it is, right? And you see that seems to genuinely concern her, though, right? Because, you know, she, all this time, I think that she thought that she would just, like, talk Legoshi out of going on this pursuit to strength. Like, oh, but I don't want it, so stop it, right? But then Legoshi is realizing, though, that, like, hey, like, I don't want to stop being strong, though. Like we have a fundamental ideological difference, right? So Haru is like, hey, just stop it, and Legoshi's like, LOL, but I don't want to, right? And so that puts them at a crossroads that Haru thought that she could basically just ask Legoshi, I think, and that he'd, like, not, you know, do this anymore, right? And so then he says, will you marry me? And so I thought that was so weird. And you see, I think it's the guy from the drama club, right, in the back, and his book's tossing. Like, I love this. I love how they did this episode. So you have Haru, and her background is all in white, and then you have Juno, and it's all in black. And I wonder if that's kind of like a metaphor. Like, Juno was, like, shocked in a bad way that Legoshi asked about opening her mouth, while Haru may have been, like, pleasantly surprised. Like, maybe that's secretly what she wanted, but she's gonna be a tsundere about it. She's like, what? Look at her face. Like, I love this. That's such meme potential. Like, I love that. Oh, it's so funny. She's like, what the fuck? Right? Not right now. Of course, by the time we graduate, interspecies marriage might not be unusual, right? And so, you know, he's basically saying, well, you know, not right now. Like, maybe in a couple of years when it's, like, accepted. And she's like, that's not what I mean. Why marriage? What about everything else, right? She's like, what about all the other steps? What about dating and all that other stuff? I love how she slapped the table like that. That's so funny. And so it's like, oh, are those steps really necessary? Are those written in stone? And so it's like, I think that's interesting, because it's almost a parallel between what happened with Pina, right? Because Pina was like, oh yeah, maybe that's the normal way to have a relationship, but why does it need to be that way? Like, as he was kind of talking about being polyamorous, right? Pina in the other scene from last week, right? And so I feel like that Legoshi, what if Pina and his conversation made him think, like, oh, well, you know, why does dating need to be a certain way accepted by society? Why can't we just change how things are done, right? I have a lot of reasons to marry you. So it's almost like the complete opposite of Pina. Pina wants to fuck around, right, when he should be committed, and then Legoshi wants to be, like, overly more committed than he should, I guess, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. I love Haru. She doesn't hate me. That's his reason. I can protect her. We'll be closer. I can guard her from other guys. That one's especially important, right? And so he's like, yeah, like basically if we get married, then you won't be with other guys anymore. You shouldn't go off with random guys. Look at his face. Right? And I kind of like overprotective Legoshi. It's just, she's like, what? Unbelievable. Why do you always get carried away like that, right? And so I feel like that's like the crux of like Legoshi's personality versus what Haru really wants. But at the same time, I feel like that she does actually want this. She's just afraid of being brave enough to have it. Because she does say later, I'm done fooling around. You know, I have my eyes set on someone, even if he's like 10 times weirder than you. I just hope that it'll be able to work out. Like, I feel like that she is only reluctant because she doesn't know if she has the confidence to match Legoshi's confidence. Because I feel like that's like everything. Like, she doesn't want society to change, right? She just wants to spend time happily with Legoshi because she doesn't think that she has the power to change anything. She doesn't have that confidence in herself. So I feel like her character arc isn't that she is going to make Legoshi change, is that she is going to match Legoshi, because she realizes that that's the strength that she's always wanted to have, but she hasn't been able to like let herself have, you know what I mean? And so I feel like that's it, right? I'd never want to marry a selfish guy like you. And I think in English she says arrogant, but I think that's interesting because I feel like that Legoshi isn't selfish. In fact, it's quite the opposite, but I think that Haru may be too afraid of being like Legoshi, especially as a rabbit. It's easy for a wolf to be like that. I think that's kind of like what arrogant would mean in the context of the dub, right? Like, you know, it's easy for Legoshi to be so arrogant he thinks he can change the world, but not as easy as like this, you know, this small like dwarf rabbit, you could say. And so I feel like Haru's whole thing is that she is like mad at Legoshi because Legoshi brings out all of her insecurities about like what she wishes she could be. And now I think she will be on the path to changing though, like genuinely. She will change to match Legoshi's energy. And so yeah, this is where we got like, oh yeah, this guy's like, hey, can I visit the gardening club tonight? And I like this. I like the little like coy thing that she does. Like, oh yeah, playtime's over, right? And so I like in English, she said, I'm done fooling around. I like that too. I've set my eyes on someone. He's 100 times scarier and weirder than you. Maybe too weird, right? And so then, you know, we see that she's actually really concerned about her relationship with Legoshi. What if he's too weird? What if it's too much of a difference between them? And so I feel like that she'll try to rise up to the challenge to match him in a way. Yeah, so then we have this scene with the drama club. I really liked Bill in this scene, actually. I'm really warming up to Bill. And so we have this panther. He's trying to lift the box, but he can't. And so he's like, lightweight panther like you should do the cleaning, right? Leave this to Bill, you know, like that's his like whole mentality, right? And I thought that was so funny, but Bill can't lift it either. And so then we actually see that the bear lifts, he calls them cat boys too. And so the bear lifts it, which I think is a big thing of foreshadowing of like the bear having like that sort of like arm strength, if that makes sense, to basically like take down Legoshi. So I think it is the bear at this point. I think they're foreshadowing it to be the bear. I think that's the biggest piece of foreshadowing, that the bear is stronger than both Bill and the panther. And again, Legoshi has taken Bill in a fight before. But when you think about it, if Legoshi and Bill have fought together and have been equal, but Bill can't lift the same box that the brown bear could lift, in theory, that would say that the brown bear would beat Legoshi in a fight. Does that make sense? Like, if Legoshi and Bill are on equal power, but the brown bear can beat Bill, that means that it has to be the bear that did it, right? That attacked him, you know? And so that was interesting. I liked his little, there was a little, like, subtle, very ear twitch here. There's a little twitch to the, like, oh, the brown bears are on a different level. Like, they seem almost, like, annoyed at that, right? I thought you were stronger, Bill, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, carnivore strength isn't about the arms, but it is in that fight, right? And so that could be, again, more evidence towards the fact that it was the brown bear that, like, attacked Legoshi because of the arm strength of him, like, slamming Legoshi's head against the wall. Because they're like, oh, the real strength is in the jaw, but... right? You know what I mean? Like in the case of that fight, maybe not. And so again, I think it is the brown bear that did it. I think it's basically like confirmed. And so they want to play tug of war, basically. And they call it jaw wars, I think, in the dub. And so it's like, oh yeah, the felines need to be at the top. And I think that this was hilarious because I thought that we were going to get set up for like a tournament arc or something. And then like Legoshi totally whiffs it, which I thought was a very nice subversion. Hilarious. And so he's just like, hooray, I had bee larvae yesterday. And they're like, oh, he's eating insects. That's like doping. And I love the animation here. They're just all so over dramatic. Come on, it's legal. Oba's been eating insects too. And so that's the thing I don't understand. Why doesn't Legoshi just eat insects? right? Like, he says, you know, I won't eat any, like, meat, right? Like, to grow stronger. But, like, can't that just be, like, his compromise is to eat insect meat and not, like, herbivore meat? Like, instead of what I was saying, that he'll learn that he does need to, like, eat the herbivores that are deceased. Like, can't he just eat bugs? Like, I don't understand why Legoshi won't eat the bugs, bro. Yeah, so then it's Bill against Legoshi, and he's like, no, I don't like this game. He even says, like, it's barbaric. Like, Bill's doing this barbaric game, but maybe I should learn from his cheerfulness. But then he's like, LOL, no, I don't wanna. I know you're full of lies, right? Ever since you punched me at the welcoming performance, your vicious dog character hasn't changed a bit, you jerk, right? So he's basically saying, like, you know, you may act all, like, high and mighty and above this Legoshi, but really, you're vicious on the inside, so let's do it, basically, is the idea. And so he says, if I win the tournament, you know, I can find out, like, who Tem's murderer is, and I really thought that we were gonna have a small little tournament arc, and then Legoshi lost on the first try, and he looked so serious. I love the fake out. The fake out was amazing. That was such a good part of the episode, right? Like, he's like, I can't lose this fight, right? And he's like, sorry, Bill, and I love the sorry, Bill, and then he whips it. It was so funny. Oh my God, he's like, oh yeah, sorry, Bill, but I'm showing no mercy, and then he just fails, and I thought it was hilarious. Oh, it was so funny, because I heard if you're not eating stuff, that like, basically, like, that you need to chew, I guess, right? If Legoshi's just been eating vegetables and he hasn't even been having, like, I don't know, tough tofu or something, right? Like, that'll, like, weaken your jaw. Like, basically, if you don't eat meat, right, your jaw and your teeth will, like, weaken because you don't, like, chew to the same, or not, like, your whole jaw. Like, it's not like in humans your jaw is gonna, like, fall apart or anything, but I have heard that, you know, like, we have teeth that are supposed to be like meat teeth, right? And your meat teeth will, like, lessen in strength if you don't eat meat. But I can imagine, because that's just humans, I think, maybe, don't quote me on that, but I can imagine for a wolf, if you're not eating stuff to keep your jaw healthy regularly, it'll get weakened, and that's basically what happened to Legoshi, right? And so I love this, like, it was so serious, and then Legoshi just, like, one single pull, and it gets whiffed. And it's funny, too, because he had above average jaw strength, right, from, like, the nurse's office check, but clearly, like, something, I feel like that, again, not chewing or whatever, like, not having, you know, certain things in his diet, because he's just been, like, eating, like, the vegetables and stuff, has made his jaw, like, really weak, right? Because we see this flashback of, like, the jaw strength test, if that makes sense. And so clearly, you know, his jaw has basically weakened because of, like, the training that he's been doing and everything, right? I'll never play jaw war with Legoshi. And he goes to bite into an apple, and it seems like that it hurts him, right? And so I feel like that's, like, really, really sad. And I like this, though. Like, the little bite marks in the apple. I'm supposed to have passed the first hurdle. Why? And that's basically it. Oh my gosh, we're at the end. And so I feel like, why? Because of your diet, bro. So I feel like that this is gonna end with Legoshi eating bugs or Legoshi eating meat. Like, understanding that the circle of life and the sanctity of life means not burying the life, you know, but rather using, like, the meat to, like, fuel yourself so you can do good in the world. And I'm excited to see Haru's character arc too, because I feel like it's gonna be, like, really, really interesting to see where things go next. And I feel like we are probably gonna find the murderer soon, but I don't understand, why couldn't Legoshi just, like, watch the rest of the tournament? Maybe he will, and then he'll find out. But yeah, I think that, like, it's definitely getting somewhere. I like all of the themes that they're going for this season, for sure. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed my review. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!